Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for coming to this YouTube channel once again. And if you like this video, don't forget to give a like and subscribe to my channel. Well, I was working with the Indian financial problem, and we have this time is the key influencer as a main agenda, which shows that what are the main influences of the tables are the different sectors that needed to be reprisal of the Indian financial problem. The money which has been taken from the banks has not given back to the public, or it has not given back to the International Monetary Fund. So what causes the problems, or who are the subsidiaries or third parties those are responsible for it? Well, that is where the key influences is all about, which is located just in near to this, which you can see it from here. It is basically helps to understand what metric we are able to get the key values for the money influencers. It is a built-in visual to help surface insights, and this is a new AI that has been given inside to the Power BI desktop. So if we just starting working with it, what we will do is we will begin with the our three ratios, such as if I'm taking the principal amount, which is here. If I take the principal amount and I will take my interest rate, that is in here, and if I'll take my original principal amount, which I'll take from the loan, that will be in here. So I will take these three different visuals into the number. So it will be right in front of me that what was the money being taken and how much was interest rate being suppressed inside to this particular financial model of the Indian banks that has been so far into a damaged situation. And as well as what I will do is I will take this one and I will put it into a number, and it will give me the right eye-catchy moment to this particular type of model that I'm going to create. And I will place this one in here and this one in here, and as well as this one in right side to this one. Well, now if I work with the key influencer, which is just in here, it will come up in here. And like I said, that it is basically helps to understand what metric we are able to understand the key money influences, and is a built-in visual. Currently in this key influencer, it is on limited category field. That means it is not allowed to use aggregators and measures to add up into this particular visual. So if I just take a text box and declare up in here that key influencer, that key influencer visual is visual is not allowed to use aggregators and DAX measures in DAX are not allowed to use aggregators and DAX measures. And I will simply broaden this a little bit up. What I'll do is I will increase the number, and I will use this one, and I can take the color as the pink. So if I just keep it in here, so I have right in front of me the report which says if there is in time we want to use it. So I keep this up in here. Now the key influencers, that as how it works. Let me just make it a spotlight is not required. Rather, I will make the border solid, so that we have a little this part. Yeah. Okay. Right. So the key influencer, what I have is basically the loan status, which I will take from the money part. So I will take the loan status to analyze. That means it is the first parameter that I want to analyze up in here. And second, what I will do is that I have the two different fields, which are basically the loan status that I want to analyze. I mean, which I want to analyze against of whom or which table, so which column is the primarily responsible to influence the financial problem in India. I will also use the explain by, that which factors are explaining it. So I will use the original principal amount. And notice we can use as many columns as we want to get our things to be noticed. So if I say cancel amount, and if I use the dispersed amount, and once I can also use the undispersed amount, and I can also use the country which is the main responsible, or which is the main influencer in this case. So notice, as soon as I put up in here, there is an automated slicer that is coming up with this influential status, that what influences loan status to be. In the approved section, I have this particular, but if I move to disbursing section, I have these two influencers. So on average, when undisbursed amount increases, the likelihood of loan status being disbursing increases. That means these two are the key influencers when I'm in the disbursing mode. But if I'm using the disbursing and repaying, in that case, the undisbursed amount goes up to this much particular value. Now, if I use the fully disbursed, then the graph just shows like that. So if I use the repaying, I can see that there is no such factor has been influenced by. That means no such banks are repaying to the International Monetary Fund as it's supposed to be. But if I see the approved again, I can see the undisbursed amount, that is the money which the Indian banks hold currently to themselves and haven't used, which they were supposed to be in the first place. Now, as well as if I use the undisbursing amount, I have this particular type of chart that is coming up in front of me. And if I use the top segments, which is this one, I can see that that it says one segment has been found, and if I just press into that, I can see that there are many different segments which has actually been influenced by the undisbursed amount. And if I use the disbursed and repayment, I am getting 33.3% than the overall of the structure. That means that the money which has been given by the International Monetary Fund has been 33.3% has been undisbursed from the main fund, and rest of are being distributed into many other sectors. Similarly, if I use the fully disbursed, I have no as such, but if I use approved, I have no as such in the top segments. So this is where the key influences have actually taken up into place. I'm going to use another visual, and in this time, if I take the payment as my main table, and if I use the column chart in here, and it will give me a direct visual that what actually has happened or what is actually been happening. I can simply say that if I use in the disbursed amount in the axis region, and if I used the last period that is being used as the values, I can get that particular part, that how much money has been taken. But if I use the cancelled amount, which is this one, it will give me quite a different practical scenario to this particular issue. And if I just open the data labels, it will give me the amount that is been actually working in this place. Notice that this one does affect by a slicer, because if I'm pressing up in here, that works in here. So the two important factor, aggregators and DAX measures doesn't work, but the slicers does play a key role into the influencer visual, which gives actually the much more insights to any of your data, or if any of your visuals, if you add it or need it to be. with this, I want to say that thank you very much for visiting this channel, and we will see up soon. This particular journey is about to end, but we will not stop up in here. Till then, thank you very much. Let me just put it as a key influencer in here, and yeah, have a great day.